Hi, everyone. I'm Anthony Chuli, and I'm really excited about today's topic. We're going to be discussing ways to monitor inbox placement and why it's important. And joining me today are my colleagues Shri and Sloan Simmons. And this is something that I think is primitive to anyone involved in deliverability about the importance of monitoring inbox placement. But there's some nuances that I think are helpful to understand in differences in the ways that you can actually do that. The pros and cons with different metrics that help you measure inbox placement, and why it is so important to reiterate. So, Sloan, maybe just to kick us off, just in general for marketers, why measure inbox placement? Why is it something that is important as a KPI for marketers to pay attention to?
Yeah, so inbox placement in many ways is directly correlated to open rates, which is one of the major KPIs of email deliverability in general. So when you have some kind of, not necessarily one-to-one correlation, but a way that you can visually reference where your mail is landing, you can get an idea of, well, if something didn't specifically not make it, where did it go? Can I tailor my mail to get to a specific location so that it can get in front of people? So it's an open driver. It's an engagement driver. It helps with your opens, helps with your clicks, which ultimately helps your business.
And to clarify, most ESP general reporting, inbox placement isn't a statistic that ESPs offer. There's limited ways in which they can measure that. And so, Shri, can you talk about kind of the differences between what we call deliverability or inbox placement and delivery, and why that's important to understand for marketers?
Sure. So just coming from the background of a mailbox provider, I always thought that all the marketers had the same kind of visibility that a mailbox provider has. But what I realized is, most of them know what's your delivery rate. So you send a bunch of emails, how many bounced, how many actually went, actually got a 250 okay, and so on. But actually the devil is in the details. It's the last mile deliverability that matters. So that's where we need to have start using a bunch of tools where we get to know, hey, did the mail actually go to inbox or spam folder, or did it just go to a black hole? So, right. So that's what one of the major ticket drivers for us was. Like, we used to get a lot of tickets where people used to say, hey, my spam complaint percentage is about 0.4%, but still I'm getting throttled. And what's the reason? So, but when we look into our tools, we see that the spam complaint percentage is around 5%. So what they don't understand is, where did the mails that got delivered, did it go to the inbox or did it go to the spam folder? And that's what I think with sales testing and so on, that we're trying to give that kind of visibility to the users, saying that, hey, just getting delivered does not mean that your mails are going to get any eyeballs.
That's a really strong point, because you were asking about the difference between delivery and, sure, you can create math and have a concrete answer. Is your mail delivered? Did it deliver? But the deliverability are those details where you're looking for, what's the likelihood that this is going to make it in front of somebody? What's the likelihood that somebody's going to interact with it? What's the likelihood that it's not going to make it to the inbox based on something that I did, or make it to a subscriber based on what I did or how I collected or anything like that? So inbox is really focused, and monitoring inbox is really focused on that deliverability aspect to give you those details.
You know, one of the things that I'll add that I think is the universal language for many senders is revenue and money. And usually, in my experience, measuring inbox placement isn't really something that is a priority until it becomes a priority. And if there's any brands that have encountered deliverability issues or inbox placement challenges, whether it be Gmail or another major mailbox provider, not only is it going to hurt open rates and engagement, but at the end of the day, that's lost revenue. That's an opportunity missed by mail not having the chance to land in the inbox. And so oftentimes it boils down to you can't measure what you can't see. Sure. And that's why having a tool like 250OK or other means to monitor and track inbox placement is crucial for any marketer, just like it is paying attention to open rates, to clicks, to conversions, to site traffic. It should be a KPI that marketers certainly take onus of, and something that they should be paying attention to ongoing.
Yeah, I mean, We don't have enough data visibility, and it's not helping us that a lot of these mailbox providers do not provide us a lot of data regarding opens and so on. If you know, Gmail just caches the images, so you have hard luck over there. Yahoo does the same. So the importance of just having multiple tools that you can just, or a tool where you get multiple data sources fed in and looking at that kind of information, I think it's just that's the trend that we're going towards, and that's what we're going to see in the future. And yeah.
Yeah, so let's shift gears and talk about, because I think it's really important to understand on this topic of measuring inbox placement. There has been an evolution in the way that not only the mailbox providers have evolved over the past decades, but also the means and the channels or the methods that marketers can actually measure inbox placement. Shri, can you help me understand what some of the ways of monitoring inbox placement are, and how they have come about due to the evolution of measuring and monitoring deliverability?
Sure. So, as you rightly said, most of the mailbox providers were looking hard at IP reputation because that was a very good signal for them, and that was an easy way to go ahead and start filtering messages at scale. But they realized that I think it was IPv6 which prompted Gmail to just go ahead with the domain reputation. But now with just with a lot of vanity domains in the wild now, there's a lot of ways that and with spammers figuring out that they can just go ahead and snowshoe whatever they want. So it's changed a lot. So now we have to, that's where it's very interesting that we have data coming in through, say, SNDS or Google Postmaster Tools, which is mostly related to the domain-based reputation. So it's good that we have that kind of information, and just feeding that data into the seedless results that we get. I think that's pieces of the puzzle that you need to fit together to build a picture.
Sloan, what are some of the ways that marketers can actually physically keep tabs and measure inbox placement?
Sure. So there's a couple of things here, and one I want to talk about what Sri just mentioned, which is the external tools that are just cropping up. Like, well, SNDS isn't super new, but it is something that more and more people are paying attention to because of things like inbox placement. That gives you another data point to be able to reference where somebody is telling you your reputation associated with this, which is going to directly impact your engagement. Engagement is a lot of the ways that you can utilize your ESP to be able to do that, or whatever your sending platform is. So usually with your sending platform, you have open rates, you have clicks, you have all of the engagement that's associated with that. Bounce messaging is really important for being able to identify if something is happening from the mailbox provider level, in case something might be causing a dip in open rates. Maybe you're seeing a rise in deferrals or a rise in like maybe an IP block or something like that. So these are the indicators that you get with your engagement from your sending platform. Something like 250OK offers you an additional layer, much like these other tools like SNDS and Postmaster, on building a reputation associated with that. Deliverability is all focused on what is your reputation? How have you treated your domain or domains to build that lasting reputation and trust between mailbox providers and you as a business? So when you send out seeds, you're getting a controlled, or with 250OK, you can actually weight the seed list to associate to your brand that you're sending across, or the segmentation that you're using.
Right.
You can weight the seed list to associate closer the results and get an idea of how does this look from an inboxing perspective and spam perspective versus what my open rates are. Am I going to the spam box more on this group of addresses and noticing a decline in my open rates? Maybe I'm seeing a rise in my deferral rates at the same time. Well, now you've used these two different tools to create a story and go try and solve an issue.
Yep. Yeah, just to add on, like when people have problems, say your delivery dips on a particular day, when you have the visibility to the data that, hey, can I go ahead and check what was the spam complaint rate the previous week? What was my bounce rates the previous week? And when we have data from SNDS and GPT just fed in with these kind of information, you can go ahead and just check what kind of how your deliverability is going to be over the next 1 week. So it's very important nowadays that you need to go ahead and adjust the volumes. You cannot just keep on sending the same type of volume throughout the month or the year. You need to just get feedback from these ISPs, and you need to either throttle your email or decide if you want to do some kind of send time optimization or something like that. And we need to evolve as a marketer.
So I think one of the really cool things about seedless testing from that perspective is you're not just reactionary anymore. You don't have to just react to if all of a sudden you see a bunch of bounces.
Exactly.
Working with seedless testing gives you that second set of data where you can start planning your own impacts that are going to happen, whether positive or negative.
What are some of the newer methods and ways that have cropped up over the past few years and ways to measure inbox placement?
Want to take it? Yeah, I can just go in.
So, I mean, there's a few different ways that people are measuring inbox for, like Gmail is a really good one where we talk all the time about how Gmail split inbox and now has a variety of tabs format. So, like I'll use 250OK as an example again, where you can see where you're landing in the specific tab. And according to Gmail, from a technical perspective, all of these tabs, if it doesn't say spam, it's still part of the inbox. So if you're landing in updates, if you're landing in promotions, if you're landing in forums, if you're one of the people that uses forums, those are still all part of inbox. And you can start measuring the impact across the board for how people are reacting to your mail from these new tab formats, as opposed to having everything located in one spot.
Yeah, I can't harp on the importance. I mean, I've heard a lot of people just saying that, hey, I landed in promotions, I should be landing in inbox. But from an end user perspective, it's much more worse that if you are a promotional email and you're getting go to the inbox, because the chances of you getting marked as spam are much more higher. And yeah.
Well, there's a few different ways that are coming out additionally, and they're not. I don't think that every way is created equal. So there's like a automated seed listing or like a smart seed listing, which will reenact engagement and then focus around there, which is similar to the concept of weighting, but you're not creating the parameters specifically around that. So you have a less control over that. So, it's still... It can give you data, it can give you information, but it might not give you the targeted information that you're looking for. But it is another option that's out there as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important to actually have options. And I think no matter what I would be remiss to not mention is there's no foolproof way to know exactly, without a shadow of a doubt, your true inbox placement, because that data isn't shared by mailbox providers. So
wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't that be great? What that leaves us with as an email ecosystem is various different ways to get as accurate and as honest feedback about your performance through the variety of means and channels that you've mentioned. So I think, again, for a marketer that may be new to deliverability, or perhaps inbox placement isn't something that they're currently monitoring, I think the information that you've both shared today has been extremely valuable in educating brands and senders about the different ways of measuring inbox placement, not only why it's important, but also the ramifications of flying blind, right? Visibility matters, and if your mail is not reaching the inbox, it can have not only severe implications to engagement in your audience, but also your bottom line. So thank you guys so much. I hope this was helpful for you all tuning in, and we will see you on another 250OK Expert Series video.